After my twin sister disowned our mother for her inheritance, she said you'll regret siding with her, she's nothing to us now. Decided to show her what family really means. After my twin sister disowned our mother for her inheritance, she said you'll regret siding with her, she's nothing to us now. I decided to show her what family really means. The last time I saw my sister smile was at our father's funeral. Not a grief-stricken smile or even a polite one. It was the kind of smile that made my stomach turn. The kind that spoke of victory rather than loss. I watched her from across the cemetery. Her designer black dress catching the autumn wind as she clutched the wheel in her manicured hands. My name is Vada, and that day marked the beginning of the end of my relationship with my twin sister, Tori. He left everything to her. My mother whispered beside me, her voice trembling. Everything except the old beach house. Linda, Mom, grabbed my hand, squeezing it so tight I could feel her wedding ring pressing into my skin. I watched Tori strut across the cemetery like it was a runway, her heels sinking slightly into the damp grass with each step. She stopped in front of us, that smile still playing on her lips. Well, looks like Daddy's favorite finally got her due, she said, waving the document in front of Mom's face. Guess all those years of backing him up during your fights paid off. Tori? Stop it, I snapped. Dad's barely in the ground. She turned to me, tilting her head. We might have been identical twins, but in that moment, I couldn't recognize a single familiar feature in her face. Oh, sister dear, always playing the moral compass. How's that working out for you? Still living in that cramped apartment? Driving that second-hand car? Mom stepped forward. Tori, please, we're family. Family? Tori's laugh cut through the cemetery like breaking glass. Family doesn't mean much when there's a fortune at stake, does it? You tried to turn Dad against me for years, but look who won in the end. I felt my blood boiling. That's not what happened and you know it. Mom supported Dad through everything. The drinking, the gambling, the affairs. She stayed loyal even when he didn't deserve it. Loyal? Tori scoffed. Is that what we're calling it now? Well, you can keep your loyalty. I'll take the estate, the company, and every penny he left me. She turned to Mom, her voice dripping with contempt. Don't worry. I'll make sure the beach house taxes are paid up. Wouldn't want you losing your little consolation prize, Tori. Mom's voice was soft, reaching out to touch her arm. Please don't do this. Don't let money destroy what we have. Tori jerked away like Mom's touch burned her. What we have? We have nothing. And Vada? She turned to me, her eyes cold. You'll regret choosing her side. Mark my words, in a few years, when I'm running Dad's company and you're still playing nurse at that shabby clinic, you'll realize what a mistake you made today. I stepped between her and Mom. The only mistake here is thinking money matters more than family. We'll see about that. Tori straightened her designer sunglasses, checking her reflection in them. I'd say see you around, but I won't. I'm done with both of you. The lawyers will handle everything from here. She turned on her heel, that smile still firmly in place, and walked away. I watched her slide into her new Mercedes, Dad's last gift to her before he died, and drive off without a backward glance. Mom collapsed into me, her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. I held her tight, feeling the weight of everything we'd lost pressing down on us. Not just Dad, but Tori too. My twin, my other half, now as good as dead to us. It's okay, Mom, I whispered. Though nothing about this was okay. We still have each other. We'll figure it out. Later that night, as I helped Mom sort through old photos in the beach house, our new home, I came across a picture of Tori and me on our 16th birthday. We were wearing matching outfits, arms around each other, grinning at the camera without a care in the world. I touched Tori's face in the photo, wondering how we'd ended up here. My phone buzzed with a text. It was from Tori. Hope you enjoy playing martyr with Mom. Just remember, you chose this. I deleted the message without responding and looked around the small beach house. It needed work. The roof leaked, the pipes groaned, and the paint was peeling, but it was ours. Mom was already in the kitchen, making tea in chipped mugs, humming softly to herself like she always did when she was trying to be brave. You know what, Mom? I called out, setting the photo aside. I think we got the better deal. She appeared in the doorway holding 2 steaming mugs. How do you figure that? I took one of the mugs, breathing in the familiar scent of chamomile. Because we still know what matters, and it's not what's in Dad's will. 5 years can change everything and nothing at all. The beach house Mom and I had inherited now gleamed with fresh paint and new windows, but every time I walked through the door, I still expected to see Tori lounging on the porch like she used to when we were kids. Look what came in the mail today, Mom said, waving a glossy magazine as I arrived for our weekly dinner. She'd aged gracefully these past years, her silver hair catching the sunset streaming through the windows. I took the magazine and my breath caught. There was Tori on the cover of Business Success, looking polished and powerful in a red blazer. The headline read, Rising Star, How the CEO Turned a Family Business into a Fortune 500 Company. Well, she certainly got what she wanted, I said, tossing the magazine onto the coffee table. Mom touched my arm. Sadie called earlier. She said she saw Tori at that new restaurant downtown last week. Apparently, she asked about you. Did she now? I pulled plates from the cabinet, trying to ignore the familiar ache in my chest. Probably just wanted to make sure I'm still struggling without Dad's money. Actually, Mom hesitated. Sadie said she seemed different. Maybe the doorbell interrupted her. I opened it to find Lyle, my boyfriend of 2 years, holding a bottle of wine and wearing that crooked smile I love so much. Sorry I'm late, he said, kissing my cheek. The hospital was crazy today. He handed the wine to Mom. Linda, you look lovely as always. We settled around the dinner table, the conversation flowing easily as it always did with Lyle. He'd been my rock through everything, never judging my choice to stand by Mom, never questioning why I stayed at the community clinic instead of chasing bigger opportunities. Oh, before I forget, Mom said, reaching for her phone, your cousin Rachel sent me this link. You might want to see it. She passed me her phone and I nearly choked on my wine. It was an invitation to a charity gala, and there at the top was Tori's name as the host. The event was next week, promising an evening of philanthropy and networking at the city's most exclusive hotel. She sent invitations to the whole family, Mom explained softly, even me. Lyle squeezed my hand under the table. Are you thinking of going? I stared at the screen, at the RSVP button that seemed to pulse like a warning. I don't know. It feels like a trap. Or maybe, Mom ventured, it's an olive branch? Later that night, as Lyle and I walked along the beach, the waves crashing against the shore matched my turbulent thoughts. You know, he said, sometimes the hardest thing isn't standing up for what's right. It's maintaining that stance when the world tries to make you doubt yourself. I kicked at the sand. I don't doubt myself. I doubt her. You didn't see her that day at the funeral, Lyle? The way she looked at Mom, my phone buzzed. A text from Sadie. Girl, you need to see this. Attached was a link to a business article about Tori's company. The headline made my heart skip. Bailey Enterprises faces securities investigation. What is it? Lyle asked, noting my expression. Karma maybe. I showed him the article. Looks like all that success might not be as solid as it appears. Are you going to the gala? I looked out at the ocean, remembering how Tori and I used to swim here every summer, how we'd promised to always have each other's backs. Yes, I finally said, but not for her. I want to see for myself what she's built with everything she took from us. Back inside, Mom was still up reading that magazine with Tori's face on it. She looked up as I entered. I got an email from Emma, Tori's business partner. She says things aren't what they seem at the company. Mom, don't get your hopes up. Tori made her choice. She set the magazine down, her eyes tired but determined. People can change, Vada, even Tori. I picked up my purse ready to head home. Maybe. But change doesn't erase consequences. As I drove home that night, my phone lit up with another text, this time from an unknown number. Looking forward to seeing you at the Galacies. Hope you're ready to see what real success looks like. T. I pulled into my driveway, looking at my modest house with its small garden and wind chimes Lyle had hung last spring. Success, I thought, comes in many forms, and some of them can't be measured in dollars or magazine covers. I typed back a simple response. I'll be there. The Grand Plaza Hotel lobby sparkled with wealth and pretense. I smoothed down my simple black dress, the nicest thing I owned, and felt Lyle's reassuring presence beside me. Ready? He whispered, offering his arm as I'll ever be. The ballroom was a scene from another world. Crystal chandeliers, ice sculptures, and people wearing jewelry that could probably fund my clinic for a year. And there, holding court in the center of it all, was Tori. She spotted me immediately. Twin radar, I suppose. For a moment, something flickered across her face, something that reminded me of the sister I used to know. Then her professional mask slipped back into place. Vada, she called out, gliding toward us. You actually came. Her eyes swept over my dress, my shoes. Lyle. And you brought a friend? My partner, Lyle, I said firmly. He's a doctor at Memorial. How quaint. Tori's smile didn't reach her eyes. Well, enjoy the party. Open bar, though maybe stick to the domestic wines. She turned to leave, but I caught her arm. That's it? 5 years and that's all you have to say? She jerked away. What do you want me to say? How's Mom? Still living in that shabby beach house? The house is beautiful now. Not that you'd know. A woman in a sharp business suit approached us, her heels clicking against the marble floor. Tori, the investors are asking for you. She turned to me, recognition dawning. You must be the twin sister. I'm Emma, Tori's business partner. Nice to meet you, I said, noticing how Tori tensed at Emma's arrival. The famous Vada. Emma smiled, but something in her expression seemed off. Tori never mentioned you were identical. There's a lot Tori doesn't mention, I replied. Emma's smile tightened. Well, we should actually, Tori interrupted. I need a moment with my sister. Emma, handle the investors. Emma's eyes narrowed slightly before she nodded and walked away. Tori grabbed my elbow, steering me toward a quiet corner. Look, she hissed. I invited you here as a courtesy. Don't make this complicated. Complicated? I laughed. Like disowning your family for money? That kind of complicated? You don't understand. I built something here, something bigger than beach houses and family dinners. And how's that working out? I asked. I saw the article about the securities investigation. Tori's face paled slightly before she caught herself. Tabloid nonsense. We're doing fine. Are you? Because Emma doesn't seem to think so. What did she tell you? Tori's voice sharpened. Nothing. But your reaction just did. Lyle appeared with 2 glasses of champagne offering me one. Everything okay here? Perfect, Tori said, her fake smile back in place. I was just telling my sister about our latest acquisition. $50 million in revenue last quarter? Impressive, Lyle said coolly. Though I've always found it interesting how people flaunt numbers when they're trying to hide something. Tori's smile froze. Excuse me. Before she could respond, Emma's voice cut through the crowd. Tori, the board members are waiting. Duty calls, Tori said. But I caught the slight tremor in her hand as she smoothed her dress. Enjoy the party. It's probably the only one like it you'll ever attend. As she walked away, I overheard Emma whisper urgently, we need to talk about the audit. Things aren't looking good. Lyle squeezed my hand. You okay? Did you see it? I asked. She's scared. The mighty dewfall, he murmured. Wanna stay? I watched Tori work the room. Her laughter a pitch too high, her gestures a bit too sharp. Yes, I want to see how this plays out. Throughout the evening, I observed from a distance. Tori kept glancing at her phone, her composure cracking slightly each time. Emma moved through the crowd like a shark, having intense whispered conversations with various business-looking types. Near midnight, I headed to the bathroom and found Emma touching up her makeup. Your sister's quite the piece of work, she said, not looking at me. You don't know the half of it. Emma capped her lipstick. Actually, I do. And soon, everyone else will too. She turned to face me. Word of advice? Distance yourself now. What's coming isn't pretty. She left me standing there, her words hanging in the air like smoke. When I returned to the ballroom, Tori was giving a speech about success and family legacy. Our eyes met across the room, and for a second, I saw real fear in them. I took Lyle's arm. Let's go home. You sure? Yeah, I've seen everything I needed to see. As we left, my phone buzzed with a text from Emma. We should talk. There's something you need to know about your sister's company. The coffee shop was quiet when Emma walked in, her designer suit out of place among the morning crowd of college students and remote workers. She slid into the booth across from me, declining my offer of coffee. I'll make this quick, she said, pulling out a tablet. Your sister's been cooking the books for months. The company is bleeding money, but she's been hiding it with creative accounting and fake contracts. I stared at the spreadsheet she showed me, numbers dancing across the screen. Why are you showing me this? Because in 3 days I'm taking this to the board. Emma's perfectly manicured nails tapped the screen. And then to the SEC. You're betraying her? She betrayed herself and everyone else. Emma leaned forward. Did you know she used your father's pension fund as collateral for a failed venture? 300 employees could lose everything. My coffee turned bitter in my mouth. That pension fund was supposed to support the longtime employees into retirement. Exactly. Your father built this company on loyalty. Tori's destroying it with greed. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Have you seen the news? Tori's on every business channel. Emma smiled grimly. Right on schedule. The first rumors are hitting the press. I pulled up a news site. The headline screamed about potential fraud at Bailey Enterprises with Tori's photo prominently displayed. The company's stock was already dropping. Why tell me all this? I asked. Because despite everything, you're still her sister, and she might listen to you. Emma stood up. She has 48 hours to resign voluntarily before I go to the board. After that, it gets ugly. After Emma left, I sat there watching the news unfold on my phone. Sadie called twice, but I let it go to voicemail. Finally, I called Lyle. I saw the news. He said before I could speak, "Are you okay? I need to talk to her." Vada. I know, but no. Listen, he interrupted. Your sister's office building is surrounded by reporters. It's all over the local news. I grabbed my keys, then I know where she'll go. The beach house looked exactly as it had the day before, but it felt different now. Mom opened the door before I could knock. She's here, Mom said softly. In your old room. I found Tori sitting on my childhood bed, staring at her phone. She looked smaller somehow. Her power suit wrinkled. Her makeup smudged. "Come to gloat?" she asked without looking up. Emma showed me the books. That got her attention. She looked up. Mascara streaked under her eyes. Of course she did. Guess the knife in my back needed a twist. "The pension fund, Tori? Really? I was going to fix it." She stood up, pacing. "One good quarter. That's all I needed. The Asian deal was supposed to save everything. By gambling with people's retirements, Dad's employees trusted you." "Dad's employees?" Tori laughed hysterically. "Dad was a drunk who got lucky in business. I built this company into something real, and now you've destroyed it." Her phone buzzed again. She glanced at it and went pale. No, what? "Emma's called an emergency board meeting for tomorrow morning." Tori sank back onto the bed. "It's over. Everything I built, gone." I sat beside her, close enough to smell her expensive perfume. "You did this to yourself." "Like, you did so much better," she snapped, still working at that tiny clinic, living in that small house. "At least I can sleep at night." Tori's phone buzzed again. A text from Emma. "Resign now or tomorrow I show them everything?" "She's bluffing," Tori whispered, but her voice shook. "Is she?" Tori stood suddenly, grabbing her purse. "I need to go. I can still fix this." "Tori, wait." But she was already running down the stairs. I heard Mom call out to her, heard the front door slam, heard tires screech on gravel. Mom appeared in the doorway. "What happened?" "She's going to make it worse," I said, pulling out my phone to call Lyle. "Should we try to stop her?" I looked at the empty doorway where my sister had disappeared. No. Sometimes people need to hit bottom before they can see the truth. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. "Your sister just called, threatening to expose my past indiscretions if I go to the board. Watch the news tomorrow. This won't end well for her." I looked out the window at the ocean, remembering how Tori and I used to believe we were unsinkable. Now, I wondered if anyone would be able to save her from drowning in the mess she'd created. "Mom," I said, "I think tomorrow is going to be a very bad day." The news broke at 9 a.m. sharp. I watched from the clinic's break room as Tori's face filled every screen. The crawling headlines telling the story. CEO steps down amid fraud allegations. Bailey Enterprises stock plummets. Federal investigation launched. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since dawn. Sadie, Lyle, cousins I hadn't heard from in years. Everyone wanted to know if I'd seen the news. But one message stood out from the rest. "I need you, please. T." I found her at Dad's grave of all places. She sat on the damp grass, her designer suit ruined, clutching a half-empty bottle of scotch. "Dad's favorite brand. Fitting, isn't it?" she slurred as I approached. "Daddy's golden child, drinking herself stupid at his grave. He'd be so proud." "Give me the bottle, Tori." She hugged it closer. "Why? Afraid I'll turn out like him?" "Too late for that." She took another swig. "Emma played me. All this time, she was gathering evidence, building her case. She gave you a chance to step down quietly, and let her take my company?" "Never." Tori laughed bitterly. "Well, guess what? She got it anyway, along with every other vulture on the board." I sat down beside her, ignoring the morning dew soaking through my scrubs. "What happens now?" "Now?" She gestured wildly with the bottle. "Now I get to watch everything I built burn to the ground. The SEC is investigating. The pension fund is gone. My accounts are frozen." Her voice cracked. "I have nothing. You have family." "Family?" She turned to me, mascara streaking down her cheeks. "I threw that away, remember? For this, for nothing." A jogger passed by doing a double take at the sight of us. Tomorrow's tabloid headline, no doubt. "Disgraced CEO drunk at father's grave." "Come on," I said, standing up. "You can't stay here. Where am I supposed to go?" "The press is camped outside my apartment. My so-called friends won't take my calls. Even my assistant quit. You're coming home." She looked up at me, squinting against the morning sun. "Home? The beach house. Mom's already made up your old room. Mom hates me. Mom loves you. Despite everything." I held out my hand. "Come on, sis. Let me help." She stared at my hand for a long moment before taking it, stumbling as she stood. I caught her, and for a second, she leaned into me like we were kids again, seeking comfort after a nightmare. "I really screwed up, didn't I?" she whispered. "Yeah, you did." The drive to the beach house was silent except for the radio news still dissecting Tori's downfall. I switched it off after the third mention of potential criminal charges. Mom was waiting on the porch just like I knew she would be. Tori froze in the car, gripping the door handle. "I can't," she said. "Not after everything I said to her." "You can and you will." I got out and opened her door because that's what family does. We come home when we have nowhere else to go. Mom met us halfway down the path. For a moment, no one moved. Then Tori crumpled, falling into Mom's arms like she was 5 years old again. "I'm sorry," she sobbed. I'm so sorry. Mom stroked her hair. Let's get you inside. Later, after Tori had showered and fallen into an exhausted sleep, I found Mom in the kitchen making tea. She left a note, Mom said, holding out a crumpled paper. On her pillow. I found it when I was making up her room. I read it, my hands shaking. I know I don't deserve your help, but I don't know who else to trust. Everything's falling apart, and it's all my fault. Please don't turn me away. She's going to need us, Mom said, pouring 3 cups of tea. The worst is still coming. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. Your sister's lucky to have you. But be careful, she's desperate. And desperate people do desperate things. As if on cue, I heard Tori's voice from upstairs. No. You listen. I don't care what it takes. Find something on Emma. Everyone has secrets. Dig deeper. I exchanged looks with Mom. The road ahead would be harder than we thought. One step at a time, Mom said, reading my expression. First, we get her through tonight. I nodded, picking up a cup of tea to take to Tori. Whatever she was planning, whatever was coming next, she wouldn't face it alone. Not this time. You need to stop this, Tori, I said, barging into her room and holding up my phone. On the screen was a news alert. Former CEO accused of harassment campaign against board members. Tori barely looked up from her laptop. 3 days at the beach house had done little to temper her revenge plotting. They deserve everything coming to them. The restraining order Emma just filed says otherwise. She's lying. Tori slammed her laptop shut just like she lied about everything else. Did she or did she just expose your lies? Tori stood up, pacing the small room like a caged animal. You don't understand. I had plans. The Asian merger was going to save everything. If she'd just given me more time to lose more people's money? I picked up a stack of newspapers from her desk. Have you even read these? The pension fund is gone, Tori. People who worked for Dad for 30 years have nothing. I can fix it. How? By digging up dirt on Emma? By threatening the board members? I threw the papers down. When does it stop? A knock at the door interrupted us. Mom stood there holding her phone. Tori, honey, your lawyer is on the line. He says it's urgent. Tori grabbed the phone and disappeared downstairs. Mom gave me a worried look. She's getting worse, I said. I know. But last night when you were at work, she told me something. Mom lowered her voice. About Dad, about why she really took the company. What do you mean? Before Mom could answer, Tori's voice exploded from downstairs. They can't do this. I built that company. We rushed down to find her pacing the living room, phone pressed to her ear. No, you listen to me. I don't care about the optics. Fight this. She hung up and threw the phone across the room. They're suing me. The board, the shareholders, everyone. They want everything. Tori, Mom started. Don't. Tori whirled on her. Don't try to make this better. You have no idea what I've been through. What Dad put me through. Then tell us, I said quietly. Tori laughed, a harsh broken sound. Tell you. Fine. You want to know why I took the company? Why I needed to prove myself? She turned to Mom. Because Dad told me I was just like you. Weak, emotional, unable to make the hard choices. Mom went pale. What? The night before he died, he called me to his office. Said he was changing his will, leaving me the company instead of splitting it. Said I had to be different from you. Better. Tori's voice cracked. He said the only way to succeed was to be ruthless. To cut out anything, anyone who might hold me back. Oh honey, Mom whispered. So I did it. I became what he wanted. Cut out my weakness. Tori's eyes filled with tears, and look where it got me. The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, I spoke. Dad was wrong. Was he? Tori gestured around. Mom stayed strong through his abuse, his affairs, everything. And what did she get? A broken-down beach house and a daughter who abandoned her. No, Mom said firmly, I got peace.